To Kingsford Smith Airport in Sydney or Tullamarine in Melbourne this weekend, you're being urged to get there early, but not too early. Those two airports alone are expecting millions of travellers to pass through the gates during the current school holiday period. Staff shortages is one reason for delays we're seeing. Another is some passengers arriving several hours before their flights are converging on the check-in halls. But no matter where you are in Australia, the advice is to keep a watch on delays, cancellations and flight changes. And aviation editor with the West Australian newspaper, Geoffrey Thomas, joins us live from Perth this morning. Morning to you, Jeff. Is it fair enough that passengers are frustrated and furious? There really seems to be a lack of planning because once again we've got this bottleneck. We saw it in Easter, we saw it across the Queen's birthday long weekend. Winter school holidays have not gone off the way we would want them to with those long queues we're seeing this morning.
Oh, look, I can understand the intense frustration. I've actually been through it myself several times in Melbourne and Sydney in the last couple of months. And yes, the queues are very, very long and very, very irritating. Fundamentally, the problem is staff shortages due to COVID, whether staff have left the industry and they can't get them back, or whether staff that they have got are down with COVID or close contacts, whatever the scenario, with Qantas and Virgin reporting up to 30% absenteeism because of COVID. So it's sadly, frustratingly, it's a perfect storm, and it's going to take some time to navigate our way through it.
But, Jeff, obviously we pay a lot for the privilege to be in the air, but we're getting terrible service in return. The airlines are copping a lot of flack at the moment. I think it's pretty fair enough. Do you think that it's deserved?
Look, no, I don't. I mean, interesting enough, Sally, 2 years ago on this very program and on Sunrise, we urged that the federal government spend more money to protect the airline industry, because tens of thousands of people are going to leave the airline industry forever and never come back. And that's what's happened. You know, around the world, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of airline staff who have worked with the airlines for 20 and 30 and 40 years left, went to other jobs, retired early, and we can't get them back. And that's the problem. And all the planning in the world is not going to help to get people back who don't want to come back, who've got a better job somewhere else. And on top of that, we've got a situation where the fuel price has gone from, I think it's about $65 a barrel to $140 a barrel in the last 5 months because of the Ukraine situation. So airlines have got, are charging higher fares because of the increase in the fuel costs. So it really is a nightmare for the airlines to navigate through this terrible mess we've got ourselves into.
Qantas says it's going to cut back flights to Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne till March next year to try and lessen the load, which they say will increase things at the airports in terms of the service people are getting, but it will also mean we're potentially paying more for flights, won't it?
Look, indeed, Sally, spot on. What's happening is that they're cutting back on flights that aren't necessarily full, moving those passengers onto other flights, and the result of that is that the passengers pay a bit more money. The last-minute passengers pay a bit more money. There's still some great deals out there if you book far enough ahead. But if you're a last-minute person, yes, you're going to pay more money. The alternative is just simply to have a blanket increase in airfares right across the board, which I think will come anyway towards the end of the year.
Just speaking of the end of the year, do you think this will be over by Christmas, or do you think this is going to go beyond that, Jeff?
I really hope it is over by Christmas, and the airlines and the airports and the security staff companies, we've got more time to plan, more time to upgrade facilities. But I think it's going to go into next year. Airlines around the world say it'll be another 12 months before this situation is ironed out globally, because it's chaotic overseas. It's far worse overseas than it is here in Australia.
Yep, and we've heard Alan Joyce warn just of that too. All right, thank you very much, Geoffrey Thomas.
Pleasure, Sally.
Now he's